Hi, welcome to Toni Time. Today on our show, we have a wonderful lady, Ciel Caldwell. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Absolutely, Toni.
Ciel and her husband, Doug, just opened up Laundryup. Now, you've probably driven by it, but we're going to have Ciel tell us all about Laundryup.
Thank you, Toni, and thank you for having us today. We appreciate being here, or I do at least, and
Yeah.
Doug in spirit.
Doug, you're here in spirit.
Yeah,
tell us about this. What I mean, this is such a clever, creative idea.
So you see this concept of laundromat cafes a lot in Europe, especially in Northern Europe. But they're really resources for communities. And they've taken off big time, actually, in Asia. They're very popular in South Korea, Thailand. And, you know, our real impetus in thinking about doing this here, this concept of a laundry in a cafe, was that, you know, the side of town that we're located at, which we're at Hill and Pool Street, doesn't have as many resources in terms of food, laundry, things like that in the area. And we just thought that would be a super great kind of community resource. We really designed it to also be able to do event space and fun things. So it's a very flexible space.
Wow.
Which is great and we love. And we're an Italian cafe. We make everything from scratch in-house except our bread. We don't have enough space. But everything, our pickled products, our soup broths, everything is made from scratch right in our kitchen.
My goodness. Now, give the audience an idea of, they can come in, do their laundry, have a sandwich.
Yeah, so we have every combination that you can think of going on, and people tend to like it for what they want it for. So we have people come in who just are there to eat. We have regulars who come in almost every day and try different things that we're doing for specials. We have people come in and do classic coin op. Obviously, all of our equipment is brand new, which is nice. We clean the machines after every use, so people really enjoy a nice, clean, sanitized area. And then they may sit and have a coffee or a sandwich or not, and there's free Wi-Fi, and televisions are on, and magazines and games, so that people can do different things. And then we have people take advantage of our wash and fold service, so they'll drop stuff off and run, and we take care of it, and then they can come back and get it. So it's definitely, we've seen that it's a very versatile type of group of people that are coming in and using the different resources.
What a clever idea.
Thank you.
What a wonderful idea.
Thank you.
I mean, we really do not have anything around here like that.
No, we don't. I mean, Biddeford has a couple other laundromats.
But nothing.
No, nothing that. The two things we really tried to pride ourselves on is cleanliness, transparency. I mean, you see the kitchen, you see everything, you can tell how everything's cleaned, and just a warm, cozy environment.
It is.
So when people come in, you know, we don't have any of the classic vending machines for products. We dispense all of our products ourselves, and our folding tables are beautiful wooden tables made of Indian wood, reclaimed. So it's just a much warmer atmosphere than going to a classic kind of, as people think about a laundromat.
I drove by the other night, I think it was last week, and you were packed in there.
Yeah.
You were packed, and it was like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Yeah. So that night we were probably doing our protein shake launch. We do events every 1 to 3 weeks at the longest in terms of different activities. We're not usually as busy right now at night, but we are getting our liquor license this month. So things are going to be shifting up a little bit, we think, with that. So we think we'll be a little bit busier in the evenings then. But definitely right now for the evenings, if we're busy, it's usually an event.
Well, now what gave you the idea to do events there?
Well, I think that being part of a community involves taking advantage, integrating in the different things that a community has to offer. So for example, we're doing another event tonight, and this is with Jen at Green Thinking, and she does all aromatherapy type things. So tonight we're doing particularly a perfume cologne event, so it's a make your own. She comes in with hundreds of different scented oils and things that people can use, and teaches about the oils and about how to do the process. So Jen comes in and works with us about once a month in terms of doing something. Our barista, whose name is Victoria, is starting an essential tea event that we'll be doing on a periodic basis. We're doing the first one of those February 8th, excuse me. And so it's just different things that are within the community that we think could be fun for people at a nice price point. So the event tonight, it's a 2-hour process for Jen to teach everything and do everything.
Yeah.
And for $10, you can, make your own perfume and come out the other side and have learned a bunch of stuff. So I think that's a nice price point for the community.
It really is. Now, can anybody come to this?
Yes, absolutely. Some of our events, we have a fixed number of spaces. We put out free Eventbrites through Facebook, so people can sign up for tickets and then come and enjoy, and they actually pay based upon the event itself.
Wow. So, in fact, tonight, January 16th,
2020.
2020, go over to Laundryup and make your own perfume and cologne. So now, I just think this whole thing is a clever, clever idea, so inviting. Now, who created the artwork and everything? You did it, didn't you?
I did the design for the space. For those people who may not know, we're in the space that Majestic Flower was in for over 40 years. And Carol, thankfully for all of us, has actually reopened in Saco in December. So we have Majestic Flower back as a resource. She was out for about a year, taking some personal time. But my husband and I own that building, and when we opened it up, it needed some major work. So it took a long time for us to do the work on the building, especially to the design that I wanted for the space. I've never done a restaurant before, so I was lucky enough to have a next door neighbor who's a 30-year chef, and she designed the menu for us from scratch and came up with our famous Laundryup egg sandwich, which is eggs and meatballs together again. They're wonderful. Everybody loves them. And then our Chef Brendan, and Chris used to work together at On the Marsh, so he came to us from On the Marsh and Kennebunk after a number of years there. So I was graced with being able to put up a wonderful restaurant with all homemade food through a network that is just excellent within the area. And then the art has started to come in from a local artist, although she's on a timeout right now because she just had a baby. So hopefully she'll be coming back and starting to work on some more art in the coming months, but that's why most of the wall space is still bare. We're saving it for her, and certainly little Elijah was worth the wait, so we'll give her some time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the whole creative idea of this. Now, I was talking to someone that you were going to be on the show, and I was describing everything that you're doing now. And the first thing that came up was, what about parking?
We have plenty of parking.
You do, don't you?
Yeah,
because you do in the back.
Yeah, so in the back, we have 7 off-street spaces. And then around the corners of the building, we have 4 more spaces. And then within the neighborhood that we're located is no time limit parking. So there's
great.
Even that's easier. And then we have a fairly long affiliation with Northeast Credit Union. And so when we do evening events or things like if we were going to do a custom party for somebody, which we've certainly done already, we actually have the ability to access their parking lot for parking too. So, we can hold a capacity of about 35 to 40 people comfortably within the space. And, we've closed down a couple of times to do private events for people and have no issue with the parking. So we certainly have different avenues with that, which is just such a contrast, unfortunately, for other places in downtown Biddeford where parking is more of a challenge. So it's definitely something that has been easier.
Right.
Yep. So.
Yeah, and I said to the person, I said, I don't think there's a problem with parking.
Yeah, no, definitely we've had no issues with parking. And then where the parking is in the back is our handicap accessible side, because that side of the building, the parking is even to the entry to the building. So it's also easier, for people who might want to be coming in dealing with other stuff.
Now, so the audience can get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you gave up a corporate life to move to Maine.
Yes, gladly.
Wow. You lived in Boston.
Yep, so I lived in Boston most recently before I decided to make Maine full-time and start this venture. I was a president of a publicly traded clean tech company. We were based out of Vermont. We designed high technology wind turbines that were deployed around the globe in remote locations, as well as we were designing battery energy storage solutions. So I had a wonderful group of engineers, but obviously a very different life than doing something like this in Maine. And it was something that I really enjoyed, but being a globetrotter, running a company, those types of things gets to a point where I decided I wanted it to be for myself and for my community instead of necessarily all of the Wall Street demands and things like that you get exposed to.
Absolutely, because I remember when I first met you and your mom.
Yep.
And your mom was lovely, you know that. You were going back and forth. During the week, you were, at work, and then you'd come on the weekends. That must have been tough.
It was, it's a schedule, right? You get into a schedule, and you have the luck and the fortune to even be able to enjoy a place like Biddeford Maine and do that schedule. And even more so, the thought that you could actually make this full-time and have this be a situation where, it's the joy. And Biddeford is a wonderful community. We have so many great things going on that I wonder from time to time if people who are from here and have always been here don't necessarily appreciate the way you can't. Not to judge anyone, but the way you can't because you haven't seen it from the outside and come in. But it's there's amazing things happening here. When people say it's a Biddeford, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. It's a very creative community. Yes, I know there's Portland and other areas that are just as creative, but I think we're up and coming. You and Doug are going to be a part of that. You're creating something that's never been in town before. Now, I heard that during the summer, you're going to have carry-out.
So we have, year-round, we have takeout, and we actually have a to-go window, which will probably be used a lot more in the summer than it is right now. But we have outdoor seating. We put it out briefly when we first opened in October because it was still warm enough. So right along Pool Street, we'll have about 4 or 5 tables set up with outdoor seating. And then around the corner on Hill is where our walk-up window is, which I really designed for the kids in the neighborhood. There's tons of kids right in that neighborhood. We're not going to be doing ice cream because we're Italian, so we're doing gelato. But it's ice cream.
It's ice cream.
So penny candy, ice cream, those types of things, more for like the local community, was really the design for the walk-up window. We found that it's handy for people with dogs. Want to get a coffee, just come to the walk-up window because obviously poor Mr. Fido can't come in. But it's should have a very different feel once spring gets here in terms of the integration to the outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think the groundwork you're doing right now with the events and everything, it's just fabulous.
No, the events, definitely we're seeing the engagement, and it definitely brings people in such a way that they can understand. But the other thing that it helps do is, I have a core team of 3 people. My chef, Brendan, who's just wonderful. He's featured on our website. Our head barista, Victoria, and a gentleman by the name of John, who works with us, John Clark. And it gives everybody that sense. And I'm really proud of my team because they're very versatile. They understand everything that has to happen in the laundry. They work on doing the events. We run our social media in-house. So it's really has that family feel of people who care. And the events give people an opportunity to really get a sense of, in a more pressured environment, how to make sure the service is going to be good and everything. So it's been a nice break-in period.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk more about your events. Now, what if somebody wanted to have a shower there, a wedding shower?
Yep. So we basically I have available flyers that detail what we have, because we have complete AV set up, that if people want to do presentations on the TVs, they can. We have very flexible seating because we can use the laundry as well. And the other nice thing about having the laundry space, and I worked this through with our local food inspector very early in the process, a lot of restaurants can't have chemicals and things like that in a restaurant area because it's considered against food code, but we can in the laundry. So we will be starting to do manicure nights, for example. Once we get our liquor license, we think that'll be fun for some of the ladies. Versus, Tulu, who I go to as my salon, Tara can't necessarily do that at a lot of restaurants. So we have more of that flexibility in terms of the space usage. We do offer booking out different perspectives of it for private events. Fixed fee menus versus order on the menus. We have all of those kind of done up in different ways that are fun Italian themes. We did a Italian trivia night for a bunch of the ladies from Forever Fit, where I work out earlier on in the process, which was just, super fun to do. So we can do different things like that for people if they're interested.
What can I say, Ciel? I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, thank you. We're excited to be doing it.
You thought it out from every angle, but that's you. And that's where you come from, and that's your background.
A little planning, yes.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, with your move up here and then going into this, which is a complete opposite of what you used to do, that's wonderful.
Yeah, and again, I appreciate that, Toni, very much, but I want to give kudos to the community. I mean, we have so many support resources in the community, like Heart of Biddeford. I mean, Delilah was huge in helping me out of understanding how to work with the city. And the planning group, Greg, Brad, Matthew, I mean, they're great guys. They're really helpful. And we work with code enforcement a ton, because primarily my husband and I own apartments and real estate, and very, people who are just willing to explain and make sure you understand so that you get things right. And it's great. Even our food inspector was, fantastic to work with. So it's been just a very welcoming community and very easy to engage and figure out how to do things. And then the culture around town is just so into different pop-ups and activities that it's fun. We're going to do we'll be at Winterfest for the adult night.
Oh, will you?
Yeah, we're going to do soups and things like that, some hot items for adult night sledding, not for Kids' Day, but for adult night, the first night. So that'll be fun. And it's just, people seem to enjoy the different opportunities.
Oh, sure they do. And I'm sure the mayor is thrilled you're doing this.
Yes.
This is Alan's baby.
Yeah, he's been in multiple times. I was floored the first time. I was caught off guard because I didn't expect the mayor to come.
Oh, he checks it all out.
I know. He's fantastic. So, yes.
He's
very
thrilled
much
you're
so.
going to do that. I know that.
Yeah. So all of those things have been just really supportive and helpful in terms of doing stuff. And those have been, some of our core focus points. Some of the things, Toni, honestly, that I haven't seen as much traction as I would like to. I'd really like to get some more involvement with some of the younger members of the community in that area. I know, or I perceive that there's not tons of places for people to go, and would love to kind of see, if maybe we could do a teen night or something like that in the area. So that's one of the things I'm going to be working on a little bit more next, with some outreach and seeing what we might be able to do.
You know what popped into my mind while you were talking about that? There's that comic book store.
Oh, all the way on the other side of town by Elm, yeah.
I had them on my show a while back. Teens go there. But they go there to play their video games and Lord of the Rings and whatever. But just like a little bit, a tip of the iceberg, letting the owner there know, well, we've got this here too.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great idea. I've actually never wandered in there. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, I had them on the show a few times.
Okay.
And I've gone in there, and he has grown that company.
Really?
Amazing. I mean, kids after school go right there.
Oh, because the high school's on that side of town, too,
Yeah.
so that's relatively close for them coming out of school for the high school side. Yeah.
So it's just a thought that I know he's got a great following there. But if they know they can come to where you're at, you can do a teen night.
Yep.
But you know, it's really funny. I think people in Biddeford are very, very respectful and very shy. And unless you say, it's okay, come on, they're going to stay back.
Yep. Some good advice.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we've been talking about the events, and I neglected to comment, and I should have early on. We try to do a few things with pricing to try to make things, you know, affordable and reachable. So take the event we're doing tonight, the perfume making event.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 2-hour event. So the cost is $10. Not an outrageous cost. I mean, if you think about going to any major department store and buying a perfume,
It's going to be more than that.
and you won't have learned anything and you won't have participated. Our food prices, we try to make reasonable, especially for the portions that they are. You know, we really looked around town as we considered our pricing. But more importantly, we have our Bambini menu, which is under 12.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for the kids, you know, we have just a basic PB&J, $3. Or we do a what I call an Italian bento box. So you pick your proteins, it's like a pinwheel, and then you get your sides, and there's plenty of healthy side options, carrots, you know, those types of things. Can get chips, can get a kid-sized soda, but all of those are really priced to be something that makes sense for, you know, somebody trying to come in and bring a couple kids with them. Hot cocoa, very reasonably priced, those types of things. And, you know, it's one of the things that's interesting to me in town. You know, we made sure to price pretty much so all of our coffee products under Dunkin' Donuts.
Really? Okay. Good.
And we still see that people just want to roll through that Dunkin' Donuts. And I, you know, it surprises me. It really does.
I think it's a habit.
Yeah, it probably is.
I think, you know, people come in, they're going to work, they're used to going through the drive-through or whatever. You know, you're going to get them used to coming to you. You know, but yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a habit.
It's interesting, yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that's the backdrop of some of the things we're doing next. I can't remember if I mentioned we're getting our liquor license this month. I think I mentioned that about the
I was at
events.
City Hall when you were approved.
Yes. So we're not opening up a bar. We're going to have some Italian wines, some craft beers, a couple of basic beers, and then we used to have what we called our mocktail menu, which was basically fun cocktails with no alcohol. Those are becoming cocktails, and so we'll have a selection of liquors that we'll do as cocktails, and then with those if somebody wants something, but certainly not becoming the next bar scene of Biddeford, but we shall see.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, this is such great information for the audience out there. I mean, I'm sure they've driven by, they've walked by, possibly intimidated by stopping in, but don't be intimidated. I mean, Ciel and Doug are down-to-earth people. You can go in there, they'll hug you. Don't worry, just go check it out. So speaking of Doug, he was there an awful lot.
Yep.
Now, he moved up here for full-time. And so now I saw him in there when I would drive by, working and hammering and doing all of that. So what's his input on all this? I know he's supportive of you.
Oh, totally. So I tease Doug all the time. One of my dream things is to be Joanna, as Chip and Joanna. I love doing the designing
I love them.
and all that kind of stuff. And he loves doing the work. Demo day is one of his favorite days. And I mentioned before, a lot of what we do is own properties in town.
Yeah.
And so although he's at the cafe a lot, if he's doing computer work or whatever, predominantly what he's doing is he's out in our field locations of whatever real estate development we're doing. around town, and working with the guys on different projects and things like that. By the time we make it to North Star Chiropractic to visit Dr. Rebecca any given week, it's kind of all right, how many basements were you bent over in this week, Darby?
Yeah.
What are we going to get this time?
Oh my God. I mean, he is just so supportive of you. And I mean, you can see the love there, and you can see that he was in there every day. Not that I drove by every day, but I'm out and about.
Yep.
And then to see it really happen, it's just amazing.
Yeah. No, he did a super good job. He does a really good job translating my vision into what the guys need to make that happen, because there's definitely a translation event.
There's
there
a problem,
that needs to
I know.
happen. I can vision a kitchen design that I want for a property we might be doing, but how to then put that into the metrics is a little different. But that's what he's predominantly doing and loving it. I do think we'll see a little bit more of him working at the cafe when we open with liquor. He's bartended before, so he has a little more of that background than I do. But we'll see. He's a natural behind the bar. He's a talker.
Oh, he's a people person,
Yes.
just like you are.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely.
Yeah.
So this is great. My God, it's just, I think it's just what the city needed.
It's one of the fun building blocks. I really appreciate you saying that. I mean, there's so many things happening in the city right now that are moving forward, right? I mean, reading just the other day that the next phase or the first phase of the official Lincoln Loft fees went in for code enforcement. I mean, that's a milestone for us.
Right.
Getting a hotel here has been something I've really dreamed about seeing for Biddeford, so that we can be the destination location that I think we can be.
Yeah.
And that's big for all of the local businesses, and all of the local businesses should be, in my mind, should be supporting and thrilled that, somebody's come in and really taken that ball to move that forward.
Yeah.
The city has done a lot. There's definitely growing pains, and, Doug and I, we run our businesses, but we're also complete locals at Pops, and we know a lot of people who have been in Biddeford for a long time, and there's definitely growing pains and different pressures. But I think as a community, that's something that if we talk about it and work on it, we can figure something out.
Well, yeah, you've got to keep the lines of communication open.
Yes.
Okay, here's a thought.
Okay.
Now, in the future, are you going to do any kind of catering? Say for like offices who are doing luncheons or whatever.
Yep.
Where are you with that?
So we've done a couple off-site events for families and friends right now.
Yeah.
Somebody who just kind of asked, oh, hey, I got a party for 25 and I didn't even think ahead. Is there something you can do?
Yeah.
We can absolutely do that. It's no problem. We just work on the menu accordingly. I mean, obviously, we are an Italian cafe. There are things we do and there are things we don't do. And so it may match what somebody wants for something, or it may not. And I think the important thing is people just understand that there are different resources for, depending upon what they're looking at doing. Chris Hennedy, my neighbor who designed the menu for us, does beautiful, very intimate, high-end type of catering.
She's great.
Totally different. And she's amazing, right?
Yeah, she is.
But we have a network of things that can be great in the area, and people kind of know, like, oh, this might be really good if you're not looking for that. Or, Chris, if it was something, she would say, oh. And I'm interested to see, I think I mentioned to you, we ended up having a wonderful piece in the Portland Herald Press.
Yes.
Unbeknownst to us. And, I think that definitely has increased some of the awareness, and for people to understand the flexibility that we can do with that capability. I mean, we're a cafe, but we're a from-scratch restaurant.
Yeah.
So for people to be able to have nice things done, we can definitely work something out.
Great. That was a wonderful write-up.
I know, I was floored.
I mean, she actually came in, had lunch.
She came in for a late breakfast on a snowy day just like today. We had no idea. Obviously, I think they obviously try to do it that way.
Yeah.
But by the end of her meal, it was, she let us know and everything. And so we figured it wasn't going to be bad, or she probably would have scurried out the back.
Right.
But it's always nice when you actually see it and, you realize that somebody recognized. And I was also just really impressed because the way that she came about coming was that they talk within the newsroom or whatever you want to call it there. And somebody said, oh, hey, I heard about this concept down in Biddeford. Why don't you go check it out? And, for people from Portland to be hearing more about things in Biddeford and kind of going.
That's great.
Yeah. And, it's nice to see that people like that are willing to be flexible and give different things a chance, not just the, oh, I heard this is this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously I was thrilled that you invite me to join here as well to get the word out a little bit more.
Oh, I wanted to help. I mean, this is my way of helping the whole community and letting people know. And when you're on the show like this, they get to know you. And they know that you're a down-to-earth person. They know that you are welcoming everybody. And I want people to know that so they're not intimidated.
Which to me is the funniest thing, because you try to make some place warm and welcoming. You never intend for that outcome.
I know. But it could be how they're raised or whatever it may be, where they're going, oh, I wonder if I should go in. There you go. And I mean, I like the fact that everything you offer within a price range is good. The food is going to be wonderful. Chris Hennedy is fantastic. And everything you've done, you've planned out.
Yeah, I mean, we opened with food about October 15th, and we really spent through Christmas working out the kinks, testing things, settling out on team members, those types of operational things.
Oh, yeah.
And then launched our website in December and started more into social media because we felt confident. We're ready.
You're ready.
I didn't want to put too much out there and then have people come in and be disappointed. And so we're also just starting to get more engaged with, how we're inviting people in. So we've just launched a UNE student discount and a senior student discount, student discount. I guess we're all students of life.
We are.
But so some of those things also to kind of help it be a little bit more inviting for people to come in and join.
It's great. We're running out of time. I can't believe this. The time has flown by.
Well, thank you. It's been wonderful.
It really. And please, I would love you to come back.
Would love to.
Like in summer to talk about what's going on. And I'm sure you're going to have so many events and people calling. And at the end of the show, there's all the information to get a hold of Ciel. And I'm sure you'll put clips of this show on your Facebook.
Absolutely.
Because people need to get to know who owns that. And how can they not love you?
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
How can they not love you? So thank you for being on the show. And please come back again, and we'll do it again and let everybody know where you're at. We'll just...
Hopefully we'll be in like the short sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
That kind of look instead of the, got the snow boots going.
Got the snow boots on. We're ready to go.
Exactly.
But thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
the time and being on the show. And
Appreciate it.
And, we want to hear about the growth and the updates and everything else.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yay.
And thank you, everybody, for watching the show today. Ciel and Doug have opened up an amazing place. Please go there and visit. Have a sandwich, do your laundry, meet friends there. But do go, and don't be shy. So until our next show, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.